Hello. Alright, it's been a little while since I've streamed. I was doing it a lot on Dungeon Deathball, and then I kind of fell off the wagon, is that the phrase? But yeah, I got into a position with that project where it was getting really complicated and there was a lot of code, and it was kind of hard to focus on writing the code whilst also streaming and being kind of present on camera. So I stopped, but I want to do more, and I'm now working on a little short project, which is a Half-Life Demake, so like a remake, but making it worse and more simple. So I wanted to show some of that. It's going pretty well. It's moving quickly, so why not jump in? I'll show you where I'm at so far. Hopefully people will start joining soon. I don't know what it's like on a Saturday, but here we go. It's a kind of side-scrolling, top-down version of Half-Life, which is using a lot of the original textures and sound effects, and then some of my own pixel art for the characters. So I've got a few weapons in there. Got the crowbar, got the pistol, got the magnum, and the SMG. And then of course it's using Unity's physics engine, so all of the crates have physics now, proper physics, rather than the bonkers Half-Life glidey, icy crate physics, which is just impossible to work with. But yeah, so that's where that is. Today I've been setting up some NPC AI. So originally I had just some very simple zombies, if they're still around somewhere. Let's try and find them. Okay, so the zombies, literally all they do right now is walk towards you. Oh, I have a bunch of errors. I've been changing the code, so I guess I broke something in the meantime, but all they would do is walk straight towards you at all times. The jumping is super wonky right now. Yeah, you can hit them, you can kill them. That's pretty much all there is to them. But what I've been doing today is trying to get the soldiers to work. So I don't have any artwork for the soldiers right now, so I just took a zombie sprite and turned it red. But they do have some AI, so he will run around from point to point. He'll use a few of the original lines from Half-Life. Oh, this camera's so he'll run to a point, fire a few shots, pick another point, fire a few more shots, and then just keep doing that. And then it's just kind of randomly playing a voice clip every few seconds. And then what I can do is turn on all the other soldiers. Let me see if it's a bit more hectic. Let me just turn off that camera really quick. There we go. And I can see them a bit more clearly. So they just do a simple ray cast for their weapons. Got them saying ass a lot, just to test what kind of AI state they're in. Eventually I'll have to get some proper chatter, have like barks while in there, you know, reloading and taking cover and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm thinking is I'm going to keep them quite simple. The Half-Life AI was very advanced for its time, and I could go all out and try and replicate that, but I mean, this is just a kind of quick project, so what I'll probably do is keep them quite arcadey, give it an arcadey kind of feel, so they're not maybe using all their squad tactics and you know, flanking behaviors and all that kind of stuff, or like I'll probably give them maybe some grenades, but nothing too complex. So that's where that is. As I said, the jumping is like just really rudimentary right now, and in fact, if I brush up against a box in the wrong way, I just go flying up out the ceiling and keep on going into infinity. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm focusing right now on combat and AI, and just trying to make sure that works okay. The platforming and jumping isn't going to be a huge part of this, but I do want some of it. What my model is, my kind of target for like what the levels should look and feel like is actually Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World. So I'll find a really good example. The interior levels in Super Mario 3D World, like the first interior level you find, has just got this great kind of size and feel to it. So like this kind of constantly side-scrolling, but with some depth thing. I think that's a really nice look. It's a really nice kind of camera angle. So that's probably what I'm going to aim for, something that looks a bit like this. And it's got, like, you know, these extra compartments so you can break into little nooks and crannies in the background, so you know you can go through holes in the walls and come out another side. Enemies are kind of quite simple, routine AI. You know, they just maybe wander back and forth and fire a few shots. But yeah, and then it's, you know, you've got like kind of a couple of paths. You've got like a low path here, but then you can jump up and get back onto the high path. I think that will work quite well with some of the environments in You've Got Hostiles. There's that part where you kind of work your way up and up and up in the same room. So like that's a really nice template for that, I think. Anyway, I'm not really working on level design too much yet. I just want to get the characters kind of feeling right first. So today, what I did initially last week was, this week was to give the weapons, basically set up like a weapon system that everything can hook into. So the player has a weapon, and they use configs, so you can just slot in any config, and then like the AI will basically use that same weapon system, and it will all just kind of work the same way, and that way I can just like slot stuff together and give it the behavior I want. So where are we at? I thought to demonstrate that I'll just set up like a quick Vortigon using that whole same system. So I'll make like a new prefab, call it Vortigon, and just kind of show like how that should be fairly quick to set up. Let's make that a new prefab. Let's actually make a new folder for my NPCs. So we've got zombie, soldier, and Vortigon. So I'll quickly just change the sprite color so that we know what it is. Give them like a kind of dark green, just like the Vorts do. Vortigon, for anyone who's not sure, that's these guys, or Half-Life Alien Slave as they were called in the original. So yeah, these kind of, well, they're not really green, they're more brown, but green is fine. But I'm still just going to use the zombie sprite for now and just get them working before I start giving them artwork. So, the speed, I believe they're a lot slower than the soldiers. So the way everything works is they all have, instead of putting too much detail into the prefab itself, I put it now all into config files, so in scriptable objects in Unity. So I'll make a new scriptable object, a new config for Vortigaunt, and this defines like a bunch of his audio and effects when he gets hit, stuff like that. So he has yellow blood, he has yellow blood when he dies. How much health do they have? Let's find out on the wiki. This has been really, really valuable. 30 on normal difficulty. So the sounds, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just shamelessly lifting them straight from Half-Life. So what have we got? Damage. Where was I? Let's lock that and add a new inspector. So that doesn't move around. Drop those in, and then death. The sounds are so awesome when you hear them again. It's just like, oh yes, I know exactly what I'm doing now. I know exactly where I am. I'm home. Okay, so I'll grab that. I've given them a drop down so you can select what faction they belong to. So Vortigaunts are alien soldiers, and I don't have any code to kind of process this right now, but eventually when NPCs try and find different targets to attack, you know, when they kind of assess their targets, they'll look at what faction they belong to, and if they belong to one that's not the same as their own, then they'll consider them a threat. So it's gonna have, let's see, let's give it the idle sounds quickly before I go into anything else. So they have alert sounds, and then they've got these awesome words, which is like the idle sounds. So I just plug them into a list, and then my AI system will kind of randomly pick a sound every few seconds and play it, and it will look at what state they're in. So if they haven't found an enemy yet, they'll play an idle sound, and if they have, they'll play an alert sound. So that way the player gets a sense of, you know, what state they're in, whether they're attacking, looking for a threat or not. And then the last thing to do is plug in a weapon. So I haven't created a config for the Vortigaunt weapon yet, but let's do that now. And I'll just push that into there. I can close that, unlock that. Right now, so this is a weapon config. So in here I define all of the different parameters for the weapon. So it doesn't have a secondary fire. It is a raycast, so it goes in a straight line. Damage, how much damage did they do? 20. Wow, they're pretty tough. Accuracy, I believe, was bang on the mark, if I remember right, in Half-Life. It was just a case of like, you had to just break line of sight, otherwise they would definitely hit you. Oh, actually, that's the values. So I separated my damage values and my accuracy values based on whether or not the attack is used by an NPC or the player. Let's see. These are all kind of irrelevant. This is all like clip size, you know. It's kind of irrelevant for the Vortigaunt attack. Maybe I should just add a quick value for that. so that way we can mark this weapon as having infinite ammo. And I did the same with the crowbar. And then what I will do is, let me just quickly edit the script to make use of that. So there's a little bit of a script here where we do try, shoot. So anytime the player or an NPC wants to shoot, they basically call this function. It doesn't directly shoot straight away, but it will just evaluate whether or not they can shoot. So first it will check if there's like, the cooldown has not expired yet. Check they're not reloading, check they've got ammo. So what we want to say is if current weapon dot infinite ammo is false, deplete the ammo there. If it's not infinite ammo, we don't need to bother assessing whether or not there's enough ammo in the clip. Okay. So let's get back to there. Okay, so it doesn't have any reload, so we don't need to have any reload sounds. I'll just remove them to remove the kind of memory overhead, if there is any. What shoot sounds do we have? I'm not sure we have any. I wonder if it's in the weapons.
Electric. Electromagnetic.
If anyone knows the name of the audio file for their attack, let me know. Where might that be? Board buttons, common, controller. So a lot of these sounds are voice sounds for each creature.
Sometimes you'll need to rely on more than just your suit to get through a tight place. Try jumping this gap on your own.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Amigo.
Amigo. I wonder if it's in one of these weapon sounds. Electro, maybe. I have no idea. X. I guess that's the Annihilanth. Oh no, that's the Annihilanth. Jeez. Alright, well I'll plug in the electro sounds for now. It doesn't really matter. Control 4, 5 and 6. Hit sounds. I'll leave those. So I've set it up in a way where I don't have to plug in these sounds. They just use some generic sounds otherwise. leave on the muzzle flash effect for now. Hit effect, leave the same. Weapon sprite is ignored. Okay. So NPC. So what I probably want to add now is maybe like a way to define how long enemies take to warm up and cool down their attacks. So I'll put that in the NPC config file in the script. Sorry. Let's go public float attack warm up time. Just default to 0, and attack cooldown time. Then when we go to actually attack, where is that done? So in the NPC, so the NPC scripts, I've set them up with a main kind of controller for each NPC, and then also a body and a brain. So the brain obviously does all the thinking, the body does all the acting. So the brain will, when the game starts, it will kind of come up with a list of what the NPC should do, a list of actions. Then it will tell the body to execute the first action. When the body goes away and does that, and then when it's finished, it's like, okay, I've finished. And the brain's like, okay, now do this next one. And it just works through them in order like that. It's quite simple right now, it's just move and then attack, and move and then attack. But eventually I'll be able to plug in some decision making. So in the body script is where we actually execute the action. We have just a hard-coded 1 second before an attack here. So that should really be let's see, the weapon. We want to be able to return the weapon config. Get. Oh, did he do that? Get weapon config. No, I didn't. Okay. Return current weapon. Just so you have a way of publicly accessing that. Because I believe that is, yeah, it's protected, so things can't change it. So we go weapon config at the start of the attack. Config equals npc.weapon get weapon config. So we can initialize that quickly. We can use that there every time it's referenced. No, where is it? Okay, it's fine, doesn't matter. Config.cool warm up, no. Ah, it was an NPC config, my bad. So it doesn't want to be there at all. Remove that. Oh, that's just public anyway. Let's see, okay. Getting ahead of myself. npc.config.warm up, attack warm up time. That's how long we're waiting for here now, instead of just a hard code of 1 second. Then there's a hard coded way at the end, which will be the attack cooldown time instead. So config Vortigaunt will have, sorry, npc Vortigaunt warm up time, let's say 1, sorry 2. So now it should take 2 seconds before attacking, and we can just go in and tweak the line, bullet tracer is like a term I'm using to define the line that's rendered when they attack. So let's just go, let's make that appear for 1 second. Let's see if this works. No! So why didn't that work? I don't think I gave it the right weapon. Is that defined? Oh, it's still set up as a soldier, that's why. So once the actor config vort and the NPC config vort. And I believe in there, yeah, it uses the weapon vort. Alright. So it's kind of working. My jumping is screwed. There we go. So it doesn't telegraph the attack, but he does do the attack, and he does do the warm up. So I wonder where all the sounds are then for that, because I have no idea. That's the big aliens. I feel like there should be more sound effects for the Vortigaunts. Let's look at some clips of Vortigaunts attacking. Office Complex is probably a good example.
Everyone, and welcome back.
We don't want one with a talk over. Sorry. No commentary. Vortigaunts, where are you? I think there's some in this bit.
The hell out.
No? Where are they? How's the audio, by the way? Is the levels okay? Probably should have checked that sooner. I swear there was Vortigaunts in that section. Is this like a...
You can make an elevator shaft. You should be able to...
Oh, it's a it's a mod, it's not the official thing. There we go. So it's definitely missing some sounds though. Definitely. I downloaded this sound pack But maybe I should have looked straight in the... Oh no, I didn't. I wrote it straight from the game. So where's the other sounds? Ambience? These are all just like loops. I need a Half-Life modder pro in the chat to help me with this. Where are the sounds for the alien slaves? Bull chicken, that's the spitting thing.
Danger.
G-Man going on. Salt. What's H as salt? Just like some mounted turrets and whatnot. Head crab, no. Grunt, no. Holograms. Hornets. Bandai. Ichthyosaur. Items. Leech. Silence. Player. Wouldn't be any of those. Cockroach. Scientists. It's the what are they called? What are they called? Snarks. That's the big tentacles. Tram ride. Turret. UI. Box. That's
Activate across.
That's the announcer. And this is pretty much all player weapons. Then I am confused because we definitely just heard a sound that we don't have in the files there. Unless they just play the alert sounds? Flying head crab. That's a new one. So they don't actually play a voice clip when they attack. They must just be playing it randomly. But there is that electric sound. What's that called? Is it maybe charge or something?
This is the
Electric. Electron. Selected.
Maybe we just need to put in like a warm-up sound. Okay, let's maybe put that in the NPC config, just a attack warm-up sound. stuff I'm not using anymore. So we'll call that from the NPC body. So we go NPC play sound. Well, first we'll go if npc.config.attack warmup sounds .length is greater than 0. So if it has some sounds, we'll get a random one. Clip equals from that list a random one, random.range between 0, so the start of the list and the length of the list. And then we play that sound, we play clip, and we have no pitch variance. That's just something I put into the pitch, but the sound can kind of vary a little bit by a percentage up and down each time. So that's called zap, and then we plug that into the Vortigon warm-up sounds config. Let's check they're all okay. It's not ideal, but I don't know if those are the same sounds or not, but we'll find out sometime. That electric attack sounds more like sounds more like the kind of the Gauss gun. That's it. I think actually we just want to use maybe a couple of these. Maybe 4 and 6. As they kind of get straight to the sound a lot more quickly. So it kind of works. You notice I didn't write a lot of code there, just to add in the sound effect. What I would say is maybe he tries to get too far away to attack you. So maybe like between 3 and 9 is a better number. 3 and 6, let's say something like that. Maybe 4 and 6, 4 and 7. His warm-up is maybe a little bit too long as well. So let's try that. Maybe it should be more like 1.5. It seems closer to the Half-Life feel, Half-Life value. I forgot I put in that sound when you die. his line renderer should be more like green, I think. Let's make it bright green. And then let's just add a few of these. Maybe 3 is enough. So they should all run around now and find their own places to attack from. And I'm destroying my cover as well, which is cool. They do all attack each other, which is not what I was going for. It's kind of a cool thing, but it kind of makes them a little too easy to fight because you can just let them all kill each other. So I'll probably, what I'll probably do is, when they come to the point where they're going to attack, they'll check to see if there's another enemy in the way, something like that. I think one more thing I just quickly want to do is add an effect on the warm-up. So we can kind of just see that that's happening. I'm only going to do something really rough for now. But it's going to be just something so we know that they're starting the attack. Give that texture sheet animation. Single row. Let's make it a sphere. Am I right that you can do like a negative speed to... No, you can't. I thought there was a way to make particles like home inwards rather than burst outwards. I'm sure there is a way. For now, it'll just be some particles coming off them like this. Just so we can at least kind of see that's what's happening, and then at some point I'll go back and make that a bit more like the kind of electric effect you see. So just like something like that. Should really just come from the center. So stop action should destroy the objects. I know there's ideally we want to be pooling all of these effects, but that's not really it's kind of something I come back to at the end, you know. That's good enough for now. So we've already got warm up, and then in the scripts we want to say we're going to plug in an effect, I think, on the NPC probably. Let's see. Warm-up effect. When the NPC comes to actually do that, if npc.conf.attack warm-up effect is not null, we're gonna spawn one of those. So on the ones where we don't put in a warm-up effect, it'll just skip right over. So we do that at transform.position. I cache the transform because it's a little bit faster than accessing it directly. You can just do quaternion.identity, and the parent we can do npc dot do the transform, so it's attached to the NPC that spawns it. Oops, that's not referencing the right thing there. We just set the duration out to be 1, turn off looping. There we go. I think it should spawn and then destroy it. Oops, I didn't plug it in. Most of my mistakes are like that, just like going into something and creating a prefab or whatever, and then forgetting to actually plug the prefab into what I was doing. Perfect. There we go. So they should do that when they start to attack now. Yep. And then I can make those look like lightning bolts and whatnot. Yeah, they're super tough. What I might do is give them some time after moving. You know, add in some delays, like delay before start moving, after finish moving, before start attack, after finish attack, all that kind of stuff. Just so they take a little bit longer to do things. Let's make the speed a little faster, between like 2 and 4. And the lifetime can be quicker as well. Ah man, that's annoying. Okay. I just want to check one thing, that it is actually killing those objects. Oh, hey Nick. My friend Nick is in the chat. How you doing? I'm just making the alien slaves. Just using green zombie sprite right now. They're really hardcore. But I seem to remember that's kind of how they were in Half-Life anyway. Like you had to really use a lot of cover. You had to kind of let them start up the attack and then just dodge out of the way. They can all attack. Oh, this is the bug I mentioned at the start of the stream. If you hit a box at the wrong angle, you get sent flying straight up into the sky, and there's no ceiling, so you just keep going. Maybe I'll just put in some more pillars for cover. Let's get Pro Builder up. Pro Builder window. This is a plugin for Unity that's pretty good. So just lets me you know, move stuff around on a grid really easily. Kind of like the original Half-Life tools themselves, actually. You know, proper world building tools. Put some more pillars in here, a bit more cover. Oh, and the camera. There's a camera zone which like forces it to always use this overhead cam in that area. So I just kind of So that's the Vortigons basically, like, you know, set up. I can add some more nuance to them and I can add some artwork, but like that didn't take long. I just did that in what, how long's the stream been going? Like an hour? Just under an hour. Because of the way I set up the code in the first place, it was all modular parts that I can just slot in different bits. Let's get the soldiers back in because there's a couple of new people in the chat, so I'll show those off. Yikes. They're just using a red sprite right now. I keep leaving that camera on. They just keep shouting ass. Because I only gave them a few sounds and one of them was ass. They seem really easy. I plugged in the normal damage values from normal mode, but they just seem to die really quick. So maybe I'll just bump them up a little bit right now. Give them 80 health, see how that goes. Maybe it's because they're all killing each other. But I swear the soldiers just have tons of health. Actually, I need to rebake the nav mesh now I think of it, because I've changed the shape of the area, but I didn't rebuild the nav mesh. so they won't actually be able to come down there. And the crates will dynamically break up the nav mesh, so you know, if I move them around, it stops them from going places. So like right here, those crates are blocking the path. The blue area is like where the NPCs can walk. That's their nav mesh. If I move them out of the way, then they'll be able to walk down there, and that just all updates in real time, which is an awesome part of Unity. Like AI is just really quick and easy to plug in. But it means that like now, you know, you can actually use the crates as barricades, if you wanted to. They were just shooting each other. Maybe if I give the soldiers, where was it? NPC config soldier. Give them more of an attack cooldown and warm up, perhaps. So they kind of stand there waiting for a little while after they shoot. Ass. Go ass. I need to work on the shooting raycast as well, because it just fires like one raycast, which is just like a infinitely thin line from the gun to where you're aiming. And what I really want to do is fire like a row of rays, so they're more likely to hit. So, what next? What next? Maybe I'll do some of those lightning effects for the Vortigaunt. Some pixel art. Just really quick, try and do something here. My PC is really struggling. I guess it's OBS is. OBS is using quite a lot of CPU. So I just set up a few variants of that lightning. Save it in Half-Life Demake, assets, art, particles, textures, particle, electric. where that is. Like particles, textures. Non-para 2. Thanks Nick. Love you too. Bye. Huh. Weird. So, turn off the soldiers, turn back on the vorts, pull in the warm-up effect, and then what I'll do, basically the speed should be 0 on these now. We just want to spawn one, like spawn them in place. Let's change the material. But then we want to rotate them like that. Let's see. I wonder if you can set the pivot. Can you do that on a particle? Can you set the pivot position? Of the individual particle, so you know it's like anchored in the center, but it will extend upwards from there, and then if you rotate it, will rotate around that point. I don't know if that's even possible. Ah, visual. Okay, pivot, awesome. Let's set it to looping for now, just so we can see the effects of it happening in real time. Visualize pivot. There we go. That's kind of more what we want. Bring it over here. And then that will be looping through all of these 4 frames. So, so really, I just want to kind of add some randomness to this. So it looks a little more erratic. Let's just make sure it is playing it. Yeah. Just wipe all them out. And this can kind of go like, you know, any way we want. It can't be too messy. You know, just flicker really fast anyway, so. There we go. That's kind of cool. Let's give it like 2 cycles. And I think there's a way of stretching it too. Stretch billboard. Scale. So why does it shrink them completely? Forward. That's too big. I'm so glad now in Unity it shows the bold text on change properties like everywhere. There used to be a bunch of cases where it didn't do that, like on these component names and the individual values in a particle system, and now it does, so that's awesome. I don't know why that happens when I set it to stretched billboard. I'll probably leave it like billboard for now. It's not really too important, it's just a quick effect. Is there anything else I can do here that's useful? Noise, that's kind of cool. Not used that before. Some rotation could be good. Typically, like between -45 and 45, that's how, like the particles will gradually like turn in different directions. Huh, I like that. Maybe it's like 3D size I want. Yeah, that's I think what I want. Is it not? They all seem to be kind of facing kind of towards the camera, which is a bit weird. Not what I was expecting. But that kind of works. Maybe if I just spawn more of them. Yep, that's cool. That works. Happy with that. Let's try it out. Yeah. Although, oh, I left it on looping. That's not what we want. They just shoot each other all the time. Maybe I need to actually make the start size a little longer in general. So a little larger. It's a bit more obvious. I'm not sure. trail actually needs to be thicker too. I just realised. On the weapon, electric wrought. And the thickness can be a little bigger as well. So their actual lightning beam would be bigger now. Okay, I'll probably end the stream quite soon. Go get some food. Oh. That didn't help. Oh, I don't think I should be using that material, that's why. Yeah, I've been going for like an hour and a bit, so I need a break. Need to get some food. And my wife will be home, and the dog will need walking. All those real life kind of things. But that's looking better. But yeah, I think that's working pretty cool. I may come back on later on, or tomorrow, not sure yet. And maybe do a little bit of pixel art on the characters, animation, or not sure. Let me know what you want to see. But yeah, thanks for joining. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @CrowbarScar. Send us my Twitch. I'll make a build of this playable as soon as I can. But right now you can see I'm still working on the systems. But yeah, thanks for joining. I'll see you when I see you. Bye.